Hi, and welcome back to Yoga with Tim. Today we're going to focus a little bit on the arms to prepare for some inversions and arm balances. So let's begin today's practice in child's pose. And we'll just take a moment to connect to our breath. So have your big toes together, your knees just wide enough for your ribs to fit in between, and then stretch your arms forward. Now, if you have a block for today's practice, I'm going to recommend placing a block underneath your head to actually pull you out of the pose a little so we get into the arms better. So your tendency might be to just kind of sink into your head, into your shoulders, into your neck. But instead, with the block, I'm going to have us lift up a little bit so that we can access the external rotation of the arms. So now, as you push down into your middle three knuckles, turn your outer shoulders down, wrap your triceps down, and then instead of sinking, I want you to grow yourself longer. So feel your spine decompress as you slowly let your forehead drop down onto the block. Breathe space into your hips, into your lower back. Then as you inhale, lift your gaze and walk your hands over to the right. Feel a stretch into your left side ribs. Walk your hands over to the left. Release your right hip back down and breathe into your right side ribs. Then come back to center, come up onto your hands and your knees, and if your wrist will allow, turn the hands around so that the fingers point back and the thumbs point out to the side. If it's too much on your wrists, then just turn your fingers out to the side. So with this rotation, let your collarbones open, tip your sit bones up to the ceiling, and one vertebra at a time, let your spine roll into a back bend. And then tuck your buttocks towards the backs of your knees, round through your lower back, middle back, upper back, and neck. Let's do that 2 more times, moving with the breath. Then come into a neutral spine, turn your hands around, and let's mobilize the hips together. So lift your right knee off to the side just a little bit without your middle sinking, and then start to make, circles with your knee, but keeping your core engaged, your spine long. Start to make the circles bigger. And then change the direction. Change legs, lift your left knee and start to make little circles, keeping your core engaged. Make the circles bigger. Change the direction. Then set that knee down and keeping your middle lifted, reach your right arm out in front of you, turn the thumb up. Keeping your middle lifted, stretch your left leg back behind you. And then engage the glute, move the buttock to the back of the knee, and lift the foot up just an inch without your middle sinking. Lower your hand and your knee. Change sides, send your left arm forward, rotate the outer shoulder down, stretch your leg back, lift up your middle. Then without your middle sinking, lift your back foot up. Lower your hand and your knee. Inhale, change sides. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, change sides. Exhale, lower down. Then press down into your hands, curl your toes under and stretch back into downward facing dog. One handprint at a time. Walk your hands back to your feet. Put a little bend in your knees as you let your head drop. And then roll yourself up slowly to stand. Inhale your arms up. Then drop your right arm to the side and side bend to your right. Reach down through your left heel as you reach up past your left fingers. Change sides, right arm up. Drop your left arm as you side bend to the left. Reach down through your hip into your heel. Breathe space from your side ribs up into your fingers. Bring both arms up. And then spread your arms. Lead with your heart like a swan dive. Fold forward. Inhale to slide your hands up your shins. Navel up, heart forward. Exhale, fold forward. Reach down through your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Spread your arms out, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come into a flat back. Then walk your hands out into a plank position. Engage your core. Keep your middle lifted and your collarbones open as you bring your right knee up to your right elbow. Change legs, left knee to left elbow. Stretch that leg back. Raise your right leg up an inch. Don't let your hips sink. Change, raise your left leg up an inch. Set that foot down and lie down onto your belly. Then stretch your arms all the way forward. Press down into the tops of your feet. Press down into your hands, feel your triceps engage. And as you keep your lower belly lifted, the skin on your lower belly lifted, now turn your thumbs up and lift your hands up just an inch without losing the triceps and the lower belly. Then bend your elbows back in a cactus position, open up your chest. Stretch your arms forward, press the pinky fingers down and get long again. Engage your triceps as you push down. Belly up. Bend your elbows back in a cactus position as you lift up. And stretch your arms forward. Press the pinky fingers down, thumbs up. Last one, bend your elbows back. Then arms straight back, roll your heart open. Lower your chest down and press straight up into plank pose. Stretch back into dog pose. Then walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale to fold forward. Reach down to your feet and inhale, come all the way up to stand. Raise your arms up. Exhale, release your arms down at your side. Now we're going to try to see if we can refine this movement. So you're going to need a block and you need to go over to a wall. So I'm going to stand with my back against the wall to help to find my plumb line, my Tadasana line. For most people, when you stand in mountain, the hips will want to come forward, the body will sink like this. And then to get your chest to open, you'll roll the shoulders back and then project your body even further forward. So instead, I want us to stand against the wall and bring the hips back, shoulders back, and head back. And if you're not used to standing like this, it might feel awkward because we spend most of our time with the head forward. So with the head back in position, let's now take a block out in front. For this one, I'm using a foam block. The heavy wood block I use normally might be a little gnarly for this. So now I push down into my feet evenly, the center of the heel bones, big toe mound, little toe mound. And then without my middle bowing forward at all, I deepen and keep the abdominal wall long and strong. Slowly raise your arms up. Just go up halfway. And then practice the same action. Remember when you're pushing down into the floor with your pinky fingers and your triceps turned on? Can you do that here to stabilize the arm? And then slowly start to raise your arms up higher and higher without your middle leaving the wall. Can you keep your tricep engaged? Slowly bring your arms back down and then lower the block down all the way. Again, take your block out in front of you. If you're doing this well, it should feel pretty hard. And then slowly raise your block up. Notice what's trying to leave the wall. And notice if your knees are trying to lock back. Don't let the knees lock to avoid it. Feel your core strong. engage your tricep. And when you engage your tricep, feel your humeral head, the inner shoulder sink into the socket. Now spread through your shoulder blades and lift up into your pinkies, into your hands to help to move. Now, if you keep your sternum depressed, you won't be able to take the arms all the way up. So now lift the upper sternum and then start to take the arms up higher, but without your ribs leaving the wall. Bring your arms back down, and let's come back to the mat now and see if we can incorporate those actions. So stand at the front of your mat, connect down into your feet, stand like your back's against the wall. Take your arms forward, imagine you're holding the block as you raise your arms up. Then lift the upper sternum, stretch all the way up, and fold forward. Inhale into the flat back position, step into the plank, and when you hold in plank, you should feel the same feeling as when you're at the wall, just arms out in front. Now see if you can maintain that as you lower into low plank. Lie onto your belly, inhale into low cobra. Lower your chest back down, press up into plank pose, glide back into dog. So even in your down dog, instead of trying to sink and round yourself towards your feet, I want you to grow your spine like when you're long at the wall. It's the same actions. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach down through your feet. Exhale, Samastiti. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a flat back. Plant your hands and step back. Find your plank. Then maintain as you lower slowly. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Press down through your left foot and raise your right leg up. Shift into plank, pull your knee up to your chest. Lift up high, and lightly step your foot up by your thumb as you drop your back knee. Hands to your right knee, upright yourself, lift your middle as you raise your left arm up. Bring your left hand down, lift your back knee, and twist, take your right arm up. Bring your hand down, set up your back foot for warrior one. Ground your back heel bone. Inhale, come up through the midline. Then bring your arms forward. Pretend like there's a wall in front of you that you're pushing away, and ground into your back center heel. Back leg tall, spine tall. Now remember that same feeling when we had the back against the wall. Now take your arms up slowly without your middle leaving the imaginary wall, and then start to bend your right knee. Bring your hands back down. Step back into plank, chaturanga push-up, lower slowly, pause, press straight back up, stretch back into dog. Raise your left leg up from the inner thigh. Shift into plank and pull your knee up to your chest. Step your foot up lightly by your thumb. Drop your back knee down, point your toes back. Bring your hands to your left knee and start to upright yourself. Lift your middle up. Raise your arm. Bring your hand down. Curl your back toes under. Lift your back knee up and twist. Take your left arm up. Bring your hand back down. Building heat, moving a little quicker. Step your back foot. Set it up for warrior one. Then lift up right up through the midline. Straighten your left leg, pretend like you're pushing the wall in front of you away, ground that back heel. Now lift up through your middle, feel the back ribs tall, back against the wall feeling as you raise your arms. Keeping your back heel bone grounded without locking your back knee, slowly start to stretch your back leg. Bring your hands back down, step back into plank pose. Lower slowly into low plank. Press back up into high plank, stretch back to dog. Pause in downward dog and reconnect to your breath. Reach into your middle 3 knuckles. Plug your inner arms up into the socket. Feel your collarbones broad. Look in between your hands. Step or float up lightly to the front. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Sit your hips back like you're sitting into a little chair. Press right down through the center of your heel bones. And then reach your toe mounds down into the floor. Now lift up the front of your pelvis, raise your arms up. Center heels, press the toe mounds down. Stand in mountain pose. Find the back against the wall feeling again. A little awkward. Inhale into chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step or float back into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot, warrior 1. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Step your left foot. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Hold in your down dog, reconnect to your breath. Look to feel a balance between the in-breath, the length of the in-breath, and the length of the out-breath. Feel yourself expanding through the skin, out through the hands and the feet as you breathe in. And as you exhale, release the tension you need to be holding while you're holding. Look in between your hands. Step or float up lightly to the front. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Sit back into chair pose. Stand Samasthiti. Inhale into chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step or float back into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot. Inhale into warrior 1. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Step your left foot, warrior 1. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Reconnect with your breath. Now step your right foot up for warrior 1 again. Inhale, come right up through the middle. And then open up to your side for warrior 2. Angle your back foot inward slightly. Turn your right thigh out all the way so your knee is tracking with your second, third toe. And imagine that you had tables underneath your hands that you're pushing down into. As you push down into those imaginary tables, lift up through the back sides of your rib cage so that your abdominal wall can deepen again like when you're at the wall. The tendency is going to be for the abdominal wall to sink forward. So see if you can keep that integrity there. Long, tall lumbar spine. Then from here, hands to hips, tip your pelvis out over your thigh. Bring your forearm onto your thigh or place your hand onto the outside of your foot. Reach your left arm all the way over your ear. Press into your feet and come back up into warrior two. Bring your hands down to the mat. Step back into downward facing dog or take a vinyasa. Step your left foot up for warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Open up to your side for warrior two. Back foot angles in a little, turn your left leg out, press down into the center of each heel, your big toe mound and your little toe mound. Push down with your hands like you're lifting your back ribs up. See if you can let your left thigh sink a little deeper without losing your back rib lift. Then tip from your pelvis, hands on the hips, go out over your leg, but keep that integrity in your middle, like you still have the lifted feeling as you go to put your hand down on the outside of your foot or forearm to thigh. Reach your right arm all the way over. Just remember when you're at the wall and the further you stretch your arm, the more your middle wanted to sink forward. Is that happening here? Mm-hmm. Press through your feet and come back up. Now this time, turn your left toes in so your feet are parallel. Stand tall. Bring your hands to your hips and roll your shoulders and your elbows back. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward in between your legs. Inhale, come into a flat back. Stretch your chest forward. Exhale, navel to spine, fold deeper. Inhale, come into a flat back. Press through your feet, come back up to stand. Spread your arms out and turn your legs to the right for triangle. The left leg angles in slightly, the right leg turns all the way out. Inhale, raise your right arm up. Exhale, take the length on the right side body, maintain it as you reach out into Trikonasana. Connect into the center heel, big toe mound and little toe mound on your front foot. Find the same thing on your back. As you spread your arms, make sure you're plugged in your middle. Breathe in and out through your nose. Reach down through your feet, come back up to stand. Turn your legs to the other side. Inhale your left arm up. Exhale, tip from your pelvis and reach out, keeping all that length on your left side body. Reach down through your feet, come back up. Now from here, step your back leg forward and stand tall in mountain. Bring your knuckles together behind your back or take reverse prayer. Step your left foot back about 3.5 feet. Inhale, roll your chest open. Exhale, start to fold forward out over your right leg. So let's just go halfway at first and pretend like you're laying out over a table. The belly softens back, your chest reaches forward. Can you connect into those 3 points in your feet? Then soften if you have the flat back, you can start to go deeper. If it's difficult, put your hands down onto something, a chair, blocks, etc. And really important that you can find this line. So if you need to look in a mirror and make sure that you have a flat back truly, before you can start to go forward and down, you want to make sure you have that flat back. Then inhale, come back to that flat back position. So important that you can find that. Arms straight back, hold there, or step up to balance on your right leg. Now if you've mastered Warrior 3, you can stay here with the hands back. Otherwise, put your hands back down onto that block or chair or whatever, and see if you can just work on leveling your hips and finding a mountain pose line, the same feeling, back against the wall feeling from your spine to your back leg. Then come up to stand, mountain pose. Inhale into chair pose. Cross your right leg up and over your left, and cross your right arm under for eagle. Uncross your arms and your legs. Bring your hands behind your back. Step your right foot back. Roll your shoulders open, heart open, and then tip from your pelvis. Go forward halfway. Hold there, lengthen all the way out over your leg. Inhale back into the flat back. Arms straight back. Step up into warrior three, or put your fingers down and work on plugging your middle in as you stretch your back leg. Then come up to stand. Inhale into chair pose. Cross your left leg up and over your right. Cross your left elbow under. And hold. Spread the skin on the base of the back of the neck, the upper trapezius. Let it release towards your shoulders. And then see if you can start to take the elbows forward and up without tensing in the neck, keeping the neck easy. Uncross your arms and your legs. Stand in mountain. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair pose. Sit your hips back. Raise your arms up. Take your arms forward, heels up. Lower your buns down onto your heels. Then put your hands down and hook your knees way up high into your triceps. If it's difficult to get deep into this position, I recommend using a block, box underneath the feet. And you can learn more about that in the arm balance course, which is part of the conscious movement community if you haven't signed up for that yet. I'll put the link below. So hands go down, belly softens back, then practice leaning into your chaturanga arms. And once you're steady, lift your feet up. Set your feet back down, then lower your buttocks to the ground and come into Dandasana. Sit with your legs stretched straight out in front of you, grow roots to your thighs, sit bones, spine upright. If you can't get your spine upright, seated flat, then join the club. It's difficult, so work yourself as upright as you can. You could bend the knees if it's too difficult. Then from there, lean your hips back. Lean back halfway until you find your tailbone and your sit bones. Then from the power of your middle, plug in, pelvic floor softens up, belly pulls up, lift your feet. Open up the toe mounds, the balls of the toes. See if you can lift one leg up without sinking all the way. Change legs. Then heels down, hands behind your head, control yourself down onto your sacrum. Abs in, one leg comes up. Change. Both legs up. Come back up into boat. Cross your legs, hands next to your hips, lift up. Lift your feet up too. Set your feet down, boat pose. Low boat pose. Now abs in, rocking boat pose. Come back up into boat. Cross your legs the other way, hands next to your hips, lift up. Feet 2. Set your butt down. Cross your legs the other way, step back into down dog. All right, then set your knees down. And for this next setup, I'm going to recommend, if you have tight shoulders or any shoulders, that you use a strap for this one, strapped up dolphin pose. So I take the strap and make sure that it's shoulder distance apart, and then I take it just above my elbows, and I want to make sure that my biceps are turning into the strap. And then with my block, I'm going to frame my thumb and index finger along the block. Now, I'm not showing this against the wall because I want you to be able to see, but just pretend like the edge of my mat is the wall. I take my block, flush up against the edge of the mat or the wall, and then I rotate my biceps into the strap. Now, when I do that, my middle wants to sink, so I plug the middle back up, and as I reach down into the forearms, I'm going to see if I can lift the toes up, curl the toes under, and lift the knees up rather. Just an inch. Then maintaining the feeling of my core staying integrated, it's going to see, can we lift our hips all the way up? If it's going well, see if you can walk your feet in a little closer without your upper back rounding, and then raise your right leg up from the inner thigh. Change legs, left leg up. Set that foot down, lift your hips up one more inch. Set your knees down. Sit in Vajrasana or Virasana, whatever's comfortable. Take your right hand onto your low back, left arm straight up, bend your elbow and slide the hands towards each other, or bind and reach in opposite directions. Release that, change the class. Release that, lie down onto your back for supported bridge for our counterbalance inversion. Press your heels down, lift your hips and slide your block right underneath your sacrum. I have the block on the medium height, I recommend that one. Then pull the mat out to the side gently, but use it to help to rotate your upper arms, descend your shoulders, neck easy though, don't tense up your neck and your jaw. Grow your pelvic roots out of your lower back. Your tail, your pubic bone, sit bones. Feel the skin of the chest spiral open. Then lift your hips up, press down evenly into your feet, feel the backs of the legs engage. Move the block out to the side. Lower your hips down for final spinal twist. Open your arms out to the side and cross your right knee over your left like the eagle legs. Hips go over to the right a little, let your knees spin over to the left. Bring your knees and your hips back to center. Change the cross of your legs. Take your hips over to the left a little, let your knees fall over to the right. Come back to center. Uncross your legs and stretch out for Shavasana. So start by relaxing your hands and your feet. Relax your jaw and your tongue. Soften the eyes, the inner ear, sinuses. And as you feel your sense organs start to soften, these are the organs that pull us outward. So eventually in our practice, we want to start to cultivate more and more our inward focus. We're going to practice that today by enhancing the senses inward. So through your sense organs, drop in and sense more and more the feeling in the body, the flow of energy. And just feel what's happening with the flow of energy as the breath comes in and out. So we're practicing tuning into more subtle layers of consciousness. Common misconception is that yoga makes you kind of like a spaced out person, head in the clouds, far out man. But it's just the opposite. It makes us super conscious, conscious of things below the surface, conscious of everything on the surface and what's going on below the surface. When you take time to feel this flow in your body, it should be deeply restorative, deeply energizing, calming at the same time. Now bend your knees, roll over to your right side, and press yourself up. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste. All right, so thank you so much. I appreciate you tuning in today. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and click the thumbs up button. Also, leave a comment below. Let me know what you did like. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future. If there's things that you feel like you'd like to see me focusing on in the videos. Last thing, if you haven't already, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to stay up to date so you don't miss any future videos, and the best way to support the channel. Also turn on your notification bells, because for some reason YouTube made that a thing that you have to do that now, otherwise you won't get notified of the videos, and you have to do something else. I forget what all this stuff is. Do all this stuff. All right, have a great day, and I'll put the link to the Conscious Movement community. If you want to learn how to deepen your arm balance practice, that's a great way to do it. I have all the courses on there as well, the handstand course, the arm balance course. That's all part of being part of the Conscious Movement community. You get access to all that stuff. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.